What's up, y'all? It's your boy Serrano786 here for some Diablo 4 news. Apparently, there was a new video that came out about the end game. Okay, G-Sync, that's a perfect time for that. I really appreciate that. Thank you for making my screen flash black off and on. It's exactly what I wanted for this intro. Perfect. All right, so there was some new posting today about Diablo 4 inside the game into the end game. So there's this video. Let's see. It says it has Joseph Piopera, game director Joe Shelley, and a lead game producer Kaylee Calder. And they talk about the end game. So we're going to watch this, just kind of live reaction. Hold on. Let's loud. All right, there we go. Can we crank this up to...
I'm really excited about getting this game into players' hands, letting them experience this massive world.
There we go.
A main cornerstone of D4 is play your way. As a player continues to advance through the story and into the end game, they'll unlock a ton of brand new activities that provide meaningful progression.
I will say, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there because I do want to say something. That's the one thing that I feel like Diablo has always needed. And I think that's true for a lot of games. And the only game that I can think about right now that actually does it really well is Destiny 2. It's a combination of public events, things you go out into the world and explore and do, like dungeons or strikes in Destiny 2. But also other stuff that you can do to go farm gear or, to get pinnacles or whatever. Diablo 3 had that a little bit with like rifts and the Nephilim rifts and all of that. So it is going to be really nice to hear what they have to talk about, what they're going to say they're going to offer for endgame in this.
No matter their playstyle.
Players will be able to keep progressing in the narrative of the game. Alongside that, the whole team has worked on crafting a variety of different experiences players can pursue.
We're going to have an entire world.
I love Sorcerer. It was so much fun.
There's going to never be an absence of something to do.
After the player has finished the campaign, there's a lot more game to go and participate in. They gain access to a special, what we call capstone dungeon that they have to complete. Once they're able to finish this capstone dungeon, they're going to gain access to the first world tier.
As you complete the world tier, it will open up the opportunity for you to go into your next world tier. That involves unlocking powerful loot, new items, and more advantages for your player to have a better opportunity at end game.
Whether you're a fan of dungeons, PvP, or just roaming around the world,
So my only worry with that is it's going to be like a time gate. I don't want to say time gate, but like time poured into the video game, right? Like there's going to be a certain amount of time you're going to put into it, obviously, to get to the end game, get to the capstone dungeon, go do all of that, re-gear up to get ready for the next capstone dungeon, and do that a total of what, 1, 2, 3 times, and then maybe there's a fourth one for like end game. But who knows? Let's see what they say.
Continue your Diablo adventure long after hitting max level.
So that's after max level then.
As your character continues to grow in power, you'll start with the skill tree and expand out into the Paragon system.
We got to test that out in beta. Skill trees are cool.
Themselves and the fantasies associated with those skills. The Paragon board is a place where we're allowed to have a lot more depth, a lot more customization, many more options as you go.
You can rotate the board, so you can choose a different path if you're like, I want to do more strength-based things, or I want these particular
Oh.
chart your path through it, and they're really a way for you to keep expanding your character and making it uniquely yours.
If it's one thing that Blizzard does well, it is taking something that another game is using. Let's take as an example like this. PoE, Path of Exile. Their system about how you, I guess, build your character and give it more depth with specializations and skills or certain like higher crits and stuff like that, higher health. You can build it your certain way. They did that, but they made it possible instead of just going in a certain path. You can just rotate the board. That's brilliant.
Similar to the Paragon boards is the Codex of Power. It's an in-game system that holds the...
We got to test that out in the beta too, the Codex. Codex is really neat. I like that idea a lot. It was actually really cool. Pause it again. It's actually really cool in the beta. Like, see how that they unlocked the aspect of Calm Breeze. It's really cool to be able to say like, oh, I need to go farm this dungeon if I want to get this certain power that I can put into items, right? Like you can put these into items and then I'm better with my skeletons, or my chain lightning is better, or my hydras are better, or whatever. I do like that they had the ability to be able to just earn those powers specifically and then just pump them into items. It's more for like build crafting, which I think is another layer to add to that, to be able to do that and craft your own weapons and armor and shit to be able to do that. Really nice change in that aspect.
And what this allows players to do is take items they're finding in the world and make them more powerful. Turn them into
Literally what I just said.
It's really special to discover what kind of playstyle really means the most to you.
And that is cool, because then you can just build into like certain things. I hope.
Every part.
I have a worry that there's going to be certain meta builds, right? Like there's going to be these ones builds for each class, or maybe a couple. They're like, this is the build you want if you want to do in-game game. I hope they make it where you can do anything, but I'm not holding my breath on that. It's really hard to balance that with so many possibilities. We'll see.
Of Sanctuary is fulfilling and satisfying. Dungeons in particular are really close to my heart. Nightmare dungeons are going to give the players the opportunity to experience a dungeon that they might have already experienced in their past playthroughs. They'll enter the dungeon with a found sigil that alters the playstyle and the intensity of the dungeon.
So it's like an affix.
And they have additional objectives, and then they also have affixes, which
That's literally
add a degree of difficulty for you and your group to work through.
Yep. That's
One of my
cool.
favorite affixes that you can find in Nightmare Dungeons is actually called Hellgate. Occasionally, these portals will open up throughout the area that will just pour out different monsters that aren't native to that region for you to also be dealing with while you're trying to handle everything else inside the dungeon. There's over 120 dungeons to play through and find in Diablo 4, and
120?
any one of them can become a nightmare dungeon by finding a nightmare sigil and then using it to activate the nightmare version of that dungeon space.
Everything's a little dark.
So it's really cool. So as you're playing through it, it's going to be able to add replayability to the older dungeons by having those alternating, I guess, maps of those dungeons. That's really cool.
Everything's more difficult. It's going to add a little bit of a twist of flavor on your
Yeah, exactly what I just said. It's nice to add that layer of replayability, which will be nice.
Some targeted activities in Diablo 4 that suit what you're feeling in the mood for.
The Forces of Hell are starting to have more influence in certain parts of Sanctuary in the vast interconnected overworld that we experience. And as the players are going into Helltide areas, they're going to find even more powerful monsters. And by killing them, they'll be able to gain these special shards they can take to go and use to purchase these big rewards. Are available at these caches that are found littered throughout Helltide areas.
The sky darkens and the rivers run red, meteors fall from the sky, and the monsters get harder. We really want to create new experiences for the players. There's one I really like called Whispers of the Dead, which you get from the Tree of Whispers. The Tree of Whispers is grim and a little gruesome, but it's also something mystically haunting and kind of beautiful.
I hope what they're implying there are items that you can find just out in the world, like that tree, the Tree of Whispers, where you could just go out, be able to say like, oh, what's this tree, and click it, and then you get the special item and like, oh, this is going to unlock a key in this area somewhere. I should go look for it. And it makes you explore that map or that region. That's pretty cool. I hope it plays out that way. That's what they kind of sounded like.
Tree has a little bit of a grudge against our players, and it would like for them to go serve its needs. So
Oh.
you're going to go serve these bounties.
Oh, so it's like
gather different rewards, different items, and bring them back to the tree in hopes that it can exchange you something really meaningful.
Maybe you're going to go to the Fractured Peaks and take out some werewolves that are rampaging in a town. They're contained activities.
Oh, so it's like, how do I put this? It's almost like it gives you quests to go out and do, like kill X amount, like what she was saying, werewolves or whatever, and gives you the ability to focus certain items. That's cool. Or like you saw, one-handed. Let's go back. Hold on. Let's go back.
These bounties,
hold on.
gather different rewards, different items, and bring them back to the tree in hopes that it can exchange you something really meaningful.
See, so you get to choose your reward. So it's not completely focused on like, oh, I want this item, but it gives you 3 options of, I want a one-handed weapon, boots, or gauntlets. So it's still a way to kind of like focus sort of with a certain amount of determinism of like the loot, but that's still awesome that it gives you options instead of just like, oh, you just get this, meh, which is really nice.
And take out some werewolves that are rampaging in a town. They're contained activities that you can do alone or in a group. We really wanted to create variety for people to be able to spend time where they wanted to in the world. It's very cool the way it's been put together, and I can't wait for people to see it, to be honest.
I'm stoked. The Fields of Hatred.
In Diablo 4, we have a focus on the world of Sanctuary. And there are parts of that world that we call the Fields of Hatred, where Lilith's presence in Sanctuary has begun to seep through and manifest these poisonous areas throughout the world. Wow. When players go to these regions, they get to engage in player versus player conflict.
These offer opportunities for the player to collect shards. But there is a little bit of a catch. In order to get these shards back to town, you'll need to purify them. Other players will definitely know that you're attempting to purify your shards, so you'd better be prepared to fight if you're going to be playing any PvP, and be prepared that you might lose some stuff in the meantime.
Once they've got the purified shards, they can take these, go back to nearby towns to sell them, and then use that to buy a whole bunch of like interesting cosmetic items and rewards.
It's a place for people who really love...
Wait, what did they give with that? Let's go back and let's see. Can we see?
And then use that to buy a whole bunch of like interesting cosmetic items and rewards.
So you received a bolting strider's hand wraps of discharging. So I guess it's another way for you to get, I guess, in-game loot, but is it just strictly cosmetic? I guess it would make sense if it was strictly cosmetic, because if it was like it made you more powerful type, like a set gear or something, then it would be a way for only PvPers to get the best gear. So I don't think they'll do that. So it's probably got to be cosmetic. It's got to be cosmetic.
It's a place for people who really love PvP and want to still get loot and still increase their character's power. If that's the way they want
so
to
it
play,
is
they
actually like statted gear. Interesting.
It's just the beginning. One of the things we're really focused on is creating a living, breathing set of updates for players to engage with after the game has gone live.
It's really just going to be a way to keep coming back and experiencing more Diablo 4 in fresh ways.
We're really eager to hear all of your experiences and just enjoy the entire story with you all.
And like I mentioned, that's the one thing that really Diablo 3, Diablo 2, whatever is, and that's the crazy thing, right? Is to think about, like, there's so much replayability for certain aspects if you're into those sort of things, or you like grinding certain ways. And it's about, again, how they mention your play style. But I feel like that's what Diablo 3, even Diablo 2, like, it's cool to grind gear. It's cool to get set gear. It's cool to get more powerful, but there needs to be like extra layers, right? You need to be kind of like constantly working towards something. And I always say this all the time when I stream, but it always comes down to the end game. What do you do after you do everything on the main story and everything? What are you doing to keep me coming back every single day, every single week? I mean, that's why I love Destiny so much. And I think I will always come back to Destiny 2. And I've been playing it pretty solid for the past year and a half, or a year, almost a little over a year, solid, because it's just good. There's always something to do, always something to farm, always something to level up. Right now, Iron Banner's going on. But anyways, there's a post. I think you can just kind of search this on YouTube if you want to watch this again. But yeah, got me a little bit more excited and pumped about the game. If you're new to the channel, you know what to do. As always, stay spicy out there, and I'll catch you on the next one.